Hi guys, Vince Gibbs here, and before we get into the video, I just want to say that you will notice that I'm not using a winterized kit. That doesn't mean that I'm totally against it. Feel free to use a winterized kit when you close your pool. The reason I don't use one is because I always open my pool in June during the hot summer month. By that time, the temperature is so hot that algae will start to form. So my pool will be slightly green or green, and I'll have to kill the algae before I can swim in it. Which is no problem. I can get that done in a day or so, and then we're ready to swim. The only extra chemicals that I add at my pool during closing is 1 extra gallon of liquid chlorine that I get from my local Walmart. Now, after you close your pool, if you want to open it to a crystal clear, clean pool, you will need to open it during the spring when the temperature is averaging between 65, maybe 70 degrees. So you'll want to open your pool in March or April. I did that one year and I'll never do it again because during April and May, it's too cold for me to swim. So therefore, I was running my pump every day, adding chemicals and maintaining my pool for 2 whole months where I wasn't even using it. So I just opened my pool the first week of June during the hot summer months and killed the algae right at opening. Okay, with that being said, let's dive right into the video. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Vince Gibbs here, and today I'm going to show you guys the way I close my above ground pool. I've had this pool for 6 years. It'll be 7 years next year, and I've learned a lot through the years. So let's go ahead and get started on all the things that you will need to do. The first thing you want to do before closing your pool is make sure that the water is balanced. And I've already done that. I test my own water using these strips right here. And I use a variation of the BBB method. Actually, my method is called CBBM. What I use is chlorine, baking soda, borax, and muriatic acid. And I use those to control the pH and alkalinity. And that's it. Very simple. Those are all the chemicals that I use in my pool to keep it crystal clear all year round. So I've already balanced the levels in my pool. The next thing I want to do, I have some leaves on the bottom of my pool. I need to remove those first. I already vacuumed my pool about a week ago, so it's good, but during that week, some extra leaves fell in the pool and they're on the bottom. So I'm going to use my trusty leaf bagger. This thing is great for removing leaves and debris off the bottom of your pool. I do everything manually. I don't use automatic vacuums. So let's go ahead and get started removing these leaves right now. So this is how you use a leaf bagger. What you do is you take your skimmer pole and you connect it right here. Like so. And then you connect your garden hose right here. And then you're ready to scoop out all the leaves. All right, I just connected the garden hose to the leaf bagger. Now I'm going to get in the water and scoop out these leaves. Let's go. And there's this finished product right there. I got all the leaves off the bottom of the pool. There may be 1 or 2 leaves still in there, but that's fine. That's not going to hurt anything. Okay, the next step in the process of closing your above ground pool is you have to decide what you're going to do with your stairs. A lot of people remove their stairs and some people leave their stairs in. I leave my stairs in because it's just me, and these stairs are extremely heavy, impossible for me to remove by myself. So if you're in a situation like me where you don't have help and it's just yourself, leave the stairs in. It won't hurt anything. These stairs have been in this pool since I got the pool 6 years ago, and it hasn't hurt anything. Some people complain that they'll cause algae to grow. Don't worry, you can kill the algae and you can scrub underneath the chairs when you open your pool. It's not a problem whatsoever. I've never had a problem. Since I'm going to leave the stairs in the pool, I'm going to remove the arms so that I can fit my cover over the stairs. So let's go ahead and remove the arms now. And just like that, the arms have now been disconnected from the pool and removed, and I'll just sit those in my garage until next year. Let's go on to the next step. Okay, so here's a quick tip. The screws that I use to connect the stairs to my pool deck, I put them right back in the blocks, right there and right there. That way, next year, when it's time to connect my stairs to the deck, I won't have to go searching for the screws. Also, you guys, I want to show you the results of me balancing my water. I just put my test strip in. That's what it looks like. Everything looks great. Everything is in perfect balance. My chlorine, my pH, my alkalinity, it's all right there within the center. And when I first checked it this morning, the pH was very, very low. So I just added baking soda and brought it up to the normal level. And now we're good to go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to backwash my sand filter for the very last time before I drain the water in the pool. So let's do that now. First thing you want to do is turn your pool pump off. Okay, I've got it turned off. Now what you're going to do is go from filter to backwash and always turn your handle in a clockwise fashion. Never go counterclockwise, always clockwise. So let's do that. So we're going to move this all the way to backwash in a clockwise motion always. Now let's turn it on. And what you're doing when you're backwashing, you're actually cleaning all the gunk out of the sand filter. You're going to look at this little glass thing here. I don't know what it's called, but you see how that looks? It's all sandy and kind of dirty. We're going to just let it backwash until it's clear. That's how you know when to stop backwashing. So it's still sandy and dirty looking. So just let it keep on backwashing. And it'll slowly start clearing up. As you see, it's starting to clear up now. Yep, I can see my hand through it now. The water is a lot clearer now. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now that the water is clear, we're going to turn the pump off. And then we're going to put this on rinse. And once again, turn it in a clockwise motion. We put it on the rinse setting, turn it on again. And just let it rinse for a few seconds, maybe 15, 20 seconds, not even that long. Make sure that this is nice and clear. And that's all you need. We're good to go. Let's turn it off. Okay, so that's going to do it for backwashing. The next step in the process is we need to drain the water. Some people want to drain it below the skimmer, 6 inches below the skimmer and all that. I don't do that. I just drain the water until it can't drain out anymore. And you know, that's good enough for me. It doesn't have to be a certain inch amount. Just drain the water until no more water is coming out. That's good. So we're going to get started on that now. Now you may ask me, how do you drain the water out your pool? Well, you have two settings on your filter pump. One is waste and one is backwash. A lot of people don't understand the difference between the two, but it's a big, huge difference. You use backwash when you want to clean your sand filter. You use waste for everything else. So if you want to remove water from your pool, you use waste. If you're trying to clean stuff out of your pool and you want to bypass the filter, you use waste. When you want to clean the filter, you use backwash. It's that simple. So since we're just going to be removing water from our pool, we want to use the waste setting because we want to bypass the filter and just go straight into the backyard. Water from the pool to the backyard, we're going to use the waste setting. So once again, We're going to move this to the waste setting in a clockwise motion. Right there. Turn it on and let it start emptying the water out of the pool. There we go. So I'll come back in about 30 minutes or so and check on it and see how it's doing. I'm going to remove the return jet. You can leave it in if you want to. I did leave it in 1 year, but I think I'm going to take it out. And there it is. I just removed it. It's super easy to remove. All you have to do is just unscrew it and then just pull it off of there. So I'll put it in a safe place so I don't have to search for it next year. And I'll show you where that safe place is a little bit later. All right, so let's turn the pump off now. And then we're gonna set it to winter mode. Right there. Winter mode, it keeps the valve open and you wanna keep it that way all winter. If you don't have a winter mode, just set it in between any of the two settings so that the lever is kind of pushed up. So in between any two settings will be fine. But I do have a winter mode on here, so I got it set right there. Now I'm going to disconnect the hoses. Going to disconnect this one down here and that one also. And then that other one, I'm going to disconnect it at the filter. There we go. And all you need is just a regular screwdriver to disconnect it. And I'm going to let it continue draining. So it's draining there from the filter pump. Now we're going to disconnect this one as well. There we go. And we'll let that one continue draining out. Now we're going to disconnect this hose from the filter so that we can detach the pump. Just like that. And I'll leave the clamp on here. That way I don't have to look for it next year. There we go. Perfect. Let the water continue to drain out of the pool. That's fine. All right, next we're going to disconnect our backwash hose and put it away. Same thing, just a screwdriver to take it loose. And as always, I keep the clamp on the hose. That way I don't have to look for it next year. It's always with the hose. And I'll just roll this up and put it in the garage and then we're good. And there we go. We got it all rolled up. I'll put it in the garage. That way I can find it easily for next year. The next thing you want to do is drain your sand filter. All you have to do is just take this valve off. Just unscrew it. And then just let it drain. I let mine drain at least 24 hours. And then I put this cap back on. Just take that cap off, let it drain for 24 hours or so, and you're good to go. The next thing I do is I remove the skimmer basket. Right here, just take it out. And this is where I'm going to store all of my supplies for next year. Just shake that out there. So we're just going to take this and set it to the side, and I'm going to put all my little things in there. I'll show you. So the first thing I put in there is my return inlet jet that I removed from the pool, remember? I'm going to keep it right there. The next thing you want to do is start preparing the sand filter. So we want to remove the gauge. All you have to do is just turn it counterclockwise like that, and it comes right out. I just take this whole piece right here, set it in my basket. It'll be good for next year. Then you take your little glass, I don't know what you want to call this, but little glass thingy. Take that off. Set it in there. And you're good. Now we want to remove this cover, take this basket out, and clean it. All you gotta do is just turn this counterclockwise. It may be difficult for some of you. You may need to get some type of tool or whatever, but and then you just pull it off there, and then you pull the basket out. There we go. And there's your basket right there. And I'm just gonna spray it off with the water hose and clean it out, and then I'm gonna put it back in. All right guys, next, there's another drain valve right here, down here at the bottom. Take a screwdriver and turn it counterclockwise and take this valve off of here and let that drain out. See that water coming out? And I should have drained this first before I took the skimmer basket out, but it doesn't matter. It's fine, it's all good. So just let that drain out. And we're almost done here, you guys. The next thing we're gonna do is actually remove the pump, and that's super easy. Okay, that's drained out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and plug it back in. A lot of people keep it out. I just put it back. Okay, now it's time to remove the pump. And it's very simple. Depending on the pump you have, you may have 2 or 3 bolts. I only have 2 bolts here, and they're located right down here. One on this side and one on the other side. Just take your Phillips screwdriver, disconnect these. And there's one. And then disconnect the other one on the other side. Okay, there it is. And then your pump, it should just come right up. Just like that. And there's your pump. Now I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my pump from the electricity. Okay. And then this pump will be stored in my garage until next year. Let's go. And I store my pump just like this. I leave this one hose connected to the pump. It's got both brackets on here, so I don't have to look for that next year. I'm just gonna drain out some of this water. Rest of that water like so. And one more thing that I like to do before I put the pump in the garage, I like to spray it down with the garden hose just to clean it off some. Put my basket right back in, and this is ready to go into the garage. Oh, one more thing, got to remember to put the lid back on. That way you don't lose it and you have it for next year. That's good enough. Next, what's very important, remember those 2 screws that you removed to remove the pump? Put them back in the hose so that you won't have to look for them next year. So I'm going to just screw them right back in the hose here. That's one. There we go. And now for the final stage of disassembling the pump and everything is remove the final 2 hoses. The water has finished draining, so I can remove the hoses now. And what I do is when I remove the hoses, I take these hose clamps, take both of them, one at each end, and I put them in my skimmer basket with all the other things that I don't want to lose. Now let's remove the other hose. There we go. Take my 2 clamps, one here and the other one off of here, and put these 2 clamps in the skimmer basket. Very important, guys. And now these 2 hoses can go in the garage for storage. And we'll just let that water continue to drain. That's fine. Now this last step I'm about to do, it won't apply to many of you, but for me, this is the way that I connect my pool to electricity. I just have to remove this and take it inside. I got a GFCI shut-off connector there. Take my cord loose, and then I'll just store this in the garage for next year. And I'll tape this down and just let it stay out here all winter long. One more thing I forgot to mention. We need to remove this flap. And it's very simple. It comes out. It's kind of hard to do with one hand though, but there we go, I got it. And just remove that flap there, and I'll put that with all the other things I don't want to lose. It won't fit in the skimmer basket, but I'll just put it on top as a cover. And I do put the skimmer cover back on, and I just let it stay out here all winter. It'll be just fine. It's not going to freeze and crack. It's been out here for 6 winters long, below 0 temperatures. Pool turns into an ice cube, snow, everything, and it's been perfectly fine. No issues whatsoever. I'll let this filter continue draining, like I said, for 24 hours. Then I'll put the cap back on. And that's it, you guys. The only other thing I have left to do is put the pool cover on. And I use a mesh cover. I learned the hard way through the years of using regular covers. When you use a regular cover, you have to deal with all that sludge and leaves and build up on the cover. Have to pump it off and hopefully not let it end up in your pool when you open your pool in the spring or summer. But with a mesh cover, you never have to worry about that. It makes it simple as pie. All right, you guys, I'm going to put my mesh cover on now, just by myself. It's super, super simple to do. The cool thing about a mesh cover is that it's permeable, so water seeps through. So you can put it in the pool. You don't have to worry about it getting wet or being submerged in the water because it's mesh. The only thing you have to do is just make sure that your controller part, the mechanism that locks it down, is where you want it to be. So I like mine to be on the right side of my pool. So I'm gonna have it over on this side. Let's go ahead and get started. Just watch me. Here we go. And just like that, the mesh cover is on. Now all I gotta do is just make sure that it's fully underneath all the flaps of the pool and just tighten up the wire so that it's nice and snug and it won't go anywhere. I've never had a problem with wind blowing it off, and we get really, really strong winds here in Oklahoma. This is tornado country. So let me go ahead and tighten it up now and we'll be done. All right, you guys, so here's my controlling mechanism. I like to have it right on the side of my pool. It's super, super easy to use.
All you have to do, hold this little part here up like so, and then turn this counterclockwise until you get it as tight as you need it. Okay, I got it pretty tight now. Now I'm going to walk around the entire pool and make sure that it's still secure all the way around. That's very important before you get it all the way fully tight. And that's it, you guys. And many of you may wonder, why didn't I use a balloon or a pillow in the middle? The reason is because I found those things to be quite useless. I've never used one, I've never needed to use one, and I've never had an issue. So use one if you want to. But me, I don't waste my time, money, or effort. They are just completely useless, in my opinion. So this is what the pool looks like when it's completely closed. As you see, I leave the sand filter out all winter. It's not going to hurt anything. After 24 hours, I will close that valve. And the cool thing about having a mesh cover is that if it rains or snows or whatever, the water will get on top of the mesh cover and it will drain through and come out the sides. So I don't have to worry about water and sludge building up on top of the cover. That's going to make for a very easy and smooth opening come next year. One thing I will say is I always open my pool the first week of June, which is pretty hot. So I am already anticipating that my water will be green. That's fine. At least I won't have any leaves or debris on the bottom. So I can clean up a green pool extremely fast in 2 to 3 days max, and we're ready to swim. And when I open my pool next June, I will make another video on opening so that you can see how smooth, simple, easy, and fast the process is of opening a pool when you close it this way. Also, some of you may be wondering, what is this little gate I have around my pool equipment? I put that gate up to keep my dog from chewing on electrical cords, chewing on hoses, and just to being destructive at the pool equipment. So this is a cool little fence I installed, and it works great. So that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. That's how I close my pool. Been doing it this way for the last 3 years. The first 3 years I was doing it the way the pool store recommended, which caused me nothing but headaches and problems and just frustration. But now I have a very simple, fast, efficient, smooth way of closing my pool, which makes it super, super easy to open it come June. So I'll see you guys again next year in 2023 in June, showing you how to open your above ground pool. By the way, in case you wanted to know, my pool is an 18-foot round, 52-inch deep. Thank you. See you next time. Peace out, you guys.